All right, let's go. I played some games. We're ready to talk about them. I got my DC product placement. Silent Hill. Let's talk about Silent Hill, the original Silent Hill. I'm the type of person, when the new game's coming out, in this case, Silent Hill 2 Remake, I need to go way back to the beginning. Even in a series where it's like, you don't gotta go back to the beginning. Like, sometimes my friends tell me I'm fucking nuts, but sometimes I'm like, yo, it's a direct sequel. You know what I mean? Like, I want to know. And it's not just narrative necessarily. It's also like, I want to appreciate the design, like the evolution of the design of the game. Like, how many of these core pieces were there in the original, like in the earlier hardware, in like a less evolved stage. I think that's cool to be like, oh shit, all this came from these humble beginnings or whatever, dog. It's besides narrative, which is obviously important. You know what I'm saying? Like just the music. Like I honestly, my cats chewed through the wire on my headphone, right? So I was without a headset for a little while, right? And so I played this emulated version of Silent Hill 1 on my Steam Deck. I didn't have headphones in. And so I probably, even though I really liked the game, I probably lost some of the experience, the atmosphere and the music and stuff like that. And I asked my friend CJ, I was like, oh shit, like the Silent Hill composer did Silent Hill 1? He's like, yeah, dog. Like, I was like, I didn't know that. I always heard Silent Hill 2. So I sat here, I might cut to a clip of it, but I sat here, the headphones on, and just listened to some tracks from the Silent Hill 1 soundtrack. Killed by Death. Tends to be that way. Track number 61, fucking Die. You can just imagine what it sounds like, because I'm not gonna get copyright claimed on this video, but you can imagine what track 61 sounds like. And yeah, they're bangers. It's awesome. So I definitely screwed up there. I mean, it wasn't my fault, boys. You know what I mean? But yeah, I still liked it, and if I replay it or whatever, I'm definitely gonna have the headphones in. But let's talk about Silent Hill. So this is like a 20-year-old game. This is crazy how old this fucking game is, and I was impressed. I'm bad at math. It might even be older than that, but I was impressed. Like, first of all, I always loved Resident Evil. I always loved whatever horror games I could get my hands on, but for some reason, I haven't played much Silent Hill. I don't know if it's hard to, like, there hasn't been remakes and remasters that were easy to get my hands on or that were on the systems I wanted to play. I don't know what the reason was. It's not like I was scared. I wasn't running from it. You know what I mean? But I'm just really glad because, like, it's probably my favorite genre. You know what I'm saying? I absolutely loved Resident Evil 2 Remake, Resident Evil 4 Remake. I really loved Resident Evil 7, but I played all of them motherfuckers, and I'm definitely on board for whatever's next. I love that shit. And Silent Hill is like right there with them. It's like the McDonald's and the Burger King thing, except Burger King's kind of getting whooped. You know what I mean? So maybe I need a better comparison there. Yeah, man, Silent Hill is dope. And essentially, I heard, I was reading a little bit, whether it was on Reddit or whatever, and I understand that Silent Hill 2 is such a classic, but that the series kind of veered away from some of what made it so classic, and it's because there was like an initial poor reception to the game, as I understand, and they like steered hard left, you know, they went in a different direction, and then there started to be this groundswell of support and love for the game, and now the series is like different, apparently. I'm probably gonna do a deep dive into the rest of the series, but yo, I love it. It was impressive, even with the fucking shitty graphics and shit like that. Just the atmosphere they're able to create, and fucking there's some cinematic camera angles and stuff that go over the shoulder and stuff like that. And it did have that shit where like the camera will be fixed, and so you'll be like on one screen you'll be holding to the left to make your character go forward, and then the camera will fucking reverse, and all of a sudden you're walking backwards or spinning in circles because you're just holding the stick in that direction. Like, it does shit like that, but there's just something cool about it. Even the cheesy ass dialogue and the cutscenes and stuff like that, it's just fucking really cool. I remember it being only like 7 or 8 hours long. I consulted a guide a couple of times, but it wasn't really all that difficult. But the atmosphere was really there. And one thing I was really impressed about was the map. And I'm someone who, especially in the survival horror genre, I really geek out about a good map, okay? Because I thought like Resident Evil 2 Remake, I didn't think you could get better than that map. Right, because ammo is scarce. Healing items are scarce. You're fucking tense. You're scared. So not only are you looting every fucking inch of every room to get more supplies, but you're like delaying having to deal with what's in the next room potentially. So you're like, I'm just gonna keep looking, you know what I mean? But Resident Evil 2 Remake was so smart, and maybe Resident Evil 2 originally had this feature, but I only played the remake. But it was so smart in that the map will tell you, like the map will be in red if there's still something to be found there, and it'll turn to blue when it's like, all right, you found everything, so you don't have to keep stumbling around in the dark like nothing left to find. Or, you know, later on you can come back to this room and potentially find something else, you know what I mean? So I thought that was so awesome. But Silent Hill 1, man, this game 25 years old, whatever the fuck. I did bad in math class. Full disclosure. All right, you'll be walking down Main Street and there's a fucking chasm into hell on Main Street, and this motherfucker will pull out his map and he'll mark that on the map. You know, so then when I bring up the map, like I have an idea of what's going on, which stores I can go into and shit like that, which parts are inaccessible or fucking hazard. You know what I'm saying? And that shit's awesome, because I remember it probably wasn't too far before that people just had a strategy guide or a fucking pen and paper to map shit out. You know what I mean? And I would be very curious to see if this was one of the first games to really do this, but it's an awesome feature. So that was really cool, and I'm happy to say that Silent Hill 2 does it as well. You know, like there'll be like, I don't know, like a bike lock on a fence or something like that, and he'll circle that. This is just, you know, this is just a hypothetical idea, and he'll circle the shit, and like right next to it, like to remind you what it is, to remind himself what the fuck it is. It's really cool and it's impressive. You know what I'm saying? So the most impressive part of the game to me was towards the end. I think you're in a hospital or something like that, and you were like really stuck there for a while. It was like a multi-tiered puzzle going on. Like you had to figure out how to solve this puzzle to get a key, to unlock this door, to find half of one puzzle solution, to go 2 floors down and find the other fucking puzzle solution, and like you're going up and down the floors. You're trying to clear the hallways of these fucking nurses who are trying to kill you and shit. And you know, if you shoot them while they're down, you keep them from respawning and stuff like that. I feel like that's really where they found their footing. And I could see that they knew that in Silent Hill 2, when they made Silent Hill 2, like a lot more of it's based on the design of the end of Silent Hill 1, where you're really like trapped in an area for a while doing like multi-tiered fucking puzzles to get out. And that shit is awesome. That's what I came here for. And some of the puzzles were difficult. I had to go on. I mean, back in the day, it was more of like the buy the strategy guide type of thing, where they made it a little harder to try to get you to buy the strategy guide. So I did feel like some of the Silent Hill 1 puzzles were a little more esoteric than the Silent Hill 2 puzzle. But, you know, I needed some help once or twice with Silent Hill 2 puzzle, but not so much. And it's cool in Silent Hill 2, there's like a difficulty slider, not just for combat, but it's separate. It's like a detached slider just for the puzzle difficulty, which is really cool. But yeah, man, it's just like, it's so cool that it's all my favorite elements of Resident Evil, but it's not as cheesy and fucking dumb as Resident Evil, which I like. I mean, I don't even hold that against Resident Evil, but to have like a cool, badass fucking tone, that's just even cooler. So I don't know. I'm hesitant about where the series went, and I don't know if the series stayed great or whatever, but the first 2 games are really awesome, so I'm definitely a fan. This shit is awesome. You know, I was on Reddit and I was saying like, should I play the first game before I play the second game? And a lot of people were like, no, it's not necessary. And a lot of people were like, oh, it explains the lore and explains the town and everything like that. Let me just say, I didn't learn a damn thing. I was reading the notes that I found, a couple of them anyway, and I didn't learn a damn thing about the town. I'm just not like, oh, I understand Silent Hill. Now I know why it's silent. It's not like now I have better context for Silent Hill 2. I'm just fucking just as confused as before, but I'm glad I played it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even certain how much like the lore even like holds up. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I were to do a deep dive onto YouTube or whatever, would I have a clear understanding and be able to tell you in a clear manner what exactly is happening? Or is it supposed to be all fucking mystified and shit and you don't know what the fuck is going on? I mean, that's the thing, like, the beginning of Alan Wake has a quote by Stephen King.
Stephen King once wrote that nightmares exist outside of logic, and there's little fun to be had in explanations. They're antithetical to the poetry of fear.
Which basically says that once you show the monster, you know what I mean? Once you give the monsters like close up, the whole movie has been chasing the characters off screen and you see like a shadow and shit and you're terrified. And once they show him and he just looks like Grimace from McDonald's or whatever, it takes all the fear out of it. So maybe you're not supposed to really know exactly what Silent Hill is anyway, or maybe I just wasn't paying attention enough. But I really love the game and I'm excited because there's this game that just came out recently in the style of those old PS1 horror games called Crow Country. And like I said, it's like a new game in that old style, using the old limitations and shit, so I definitely want to get that. This is definitely one of my favorite genres. I mean, right there at the fucking top, like top 2, basically. I love survival horror. I don't always love reading the notes and stuff like that, like having all these fucking notes that you find and it tells the story through notes. That seems to be a big part of the genre that I don't really like. But just the atmosphere and the gameplay and being tense and being scared, being immersed. I love that shit. That's peak. And a fucking old ass game to have this much atmosphere and this much aura and shit like that. I was impressed. And I just love my Steam Deck. Just being able to emulate a PS1 game and it was easy. Yeah, it was easy. You just install the emulator, download the ROM, put it in a folder, and you're playing a PlayStation 1 game. It's fucking cool, man. It's fucking really cool.